Let's turn to some email questions now. Of course, the Big Ten is going under the big transformation this summer when Nebraska officially joins the conference. And this is our question from Michael. Will Nebraska dominate baseball and softball when they join the Big Ten?
You know, I don't know if they'll dominate. I'm very excited to get them into this conference just because they're a winning program. You come out and you hear about Nebraska. I know growing up, I love Nebraska. I was excited to watch them play. I was excited to hear about them. So the fact that they're joining the Big Ten, I'm excited about. I can't wait to watch them against Michigan, against Indiana, against these top teams.
Well, going to Iowa, I really think it's a natural rivalry for the Iowa Hawkeyes. And I think that you look at them as a Big 12 school, you'll think there's some Southern schools there and that, you know, maybe they are going to try to dominate or they think they would. But I really think Nebraska is just really happy about the fact that they're going to be playing some schools that are going to be dealing with the same weather that they are instead of playing in Texas and an Oklahoma and an Oklahoma State who get to practice in the warm weather. So I really think that's going to be a key for them. But I think they're welcoming in the opportunity, and I think all the other Big Ten schools want to bring them in. I think they're going to be a great competition for everybody.
Sort of a leveling of the playing field then for the Huskers.
I think so. I think that with the weather, I think it's going to be both in baseball and in softball.
Next email question. This comes from Chris in Des Moines, Iowa. He says, who's more likely to make the postseason, Iowa or Purdue?
I think that both teams definitely have a shot at making postseason. But I think for both of them, it's very important what they do in these next 2 weeks. They're one of those teams that 3 or 4 in the conference, you never know, you could make it, but things that help Iowa, beating Michigan. That's huge. You beat the number 2 team in the country, that's definitely going to be effective or be an asset in deciding. And Purdue, they have a big game coming up against Indiana. So all of these games are important to them, and they really need to come out and win the rest of their games to clinch that spot.
Let me put a twist on Chris's question to turn it to baseball then. How many Big Ten teams have a legitimate shot at making the postseason?
That seems to be the question we continue to get every year, and I think really if you look at the standings, we go back to looking at the standings and you will see that right now Michigan State and Purdue, who are at the top, they are both at Purdue 30 wins and Michigan State at 27, and that's overall wins, not just conference wins. They're going to have, a Big Ten team has to really play well in the conference, Mike. They have to be a number 1 or number 2. But if one of those 2 teams, Purdue and Michigan State, have a chance because you got to get to 35 to 40 wins to be an at-large bid and play well in your conference. And you hope that one of those other 6 teams or one of those other 4 teams wins that tournament, and that way you can get a couple Big Ten teams in the tournament.
Only 4 teams in the conference with 25 wins or more, and just those 2, Purdue and Michigan State, have more than 25 wins.